So there are a total of three major passages regarding Joppa in the Bible. Here's the second one. It's from Acts 9, verse 36. Let me read it to you. Now there was in Joppa a disciple named Tabitha, which translated means Dorcas. Now, Mike Dorcas, if you're out there, this is where we got your name from, your nickname. But at any rate, Dorcas means, let's see here, means gazelle. She was full of good works and acts of charity. In those days she became ill and died, and when they had washed her, they laid her in an upper room. Since Lydda was near Joppa, the disciples, hearing that Peter was there, sent two men to him, urging him, "Please come to us without delay." So Peter rose and went with them. And when he arrived, they took him to an upper room. All the widows stood beside him, weeping and showing tunics and other garments that Dorcas had made for them while she was with them. But Peter put them all outside and knelt down and prayed, and turning to the body, he said, "Tabitha, rise." And she opened her eyes. And when she saw Peter, she sat up. And he gave her his hand and raised her up. Then calling the saints and the widows, he presented her alive. And it became known throughout all Joppa. And many believed in the Lord. And he stayed in Joppa for many days with one Simon, a tanner. So Peter does a miracle. So with Christ and Christianity, they come preaching. A lot of people preach a lot of different messages. Is their way the right way? I mean, they're teaching that Jesus is the Jewish Messiah because they said so. Should you listen to these guys? No. If someone tells you something, do you just believe them because they say it? Of course not. You want proof. You want evidence. And Jesus came doing miracles. And I think of one story where he told a man, "Your sins are forgiven." And some of the religious leaders were upset with him. Who can forgive sins except for God? And so Jesus said, what's easier, to say your sins are forgiven, or to tell this paralyzed man to stand up, pick up his mat, and go home? And basically, he healed that man as a miraculous sign, a supernatural sign, to show that what he was preaching, he was backing up with God's approval. So as an exclamation point to his message. So then later you have Peter, he's in Joppa, and this lady, Dorcas, dies, and he raises her up. People seeing this miracle, I'm sure not everybody believed, but many who saw this miracle. In verse 42 it says, many believed in the Lord. Many, through that exclamation point to his message, thought, this message is from God, so I better listen to this. And I think that goes for Peter and the disciples and Jesus. They backed up their message with miracles. I'm not saying it doesn't happen today. It happens in some areas. Sometimes it doesn't. It depends what God wants to do. So when someone comes along with a message, I want him to back it up somehow. I'm not going to believe some Joe Schmo because he comes in, or some guy named Peter, or some guy named Paul, or some guy named Joshua or Jesus or whatever. But out of God's kindness, he backed it up with miracles. In Joppa, Peter did this miracle where you just saw those pictures from, right in that place. And the word of Christ spread, and people believed in Jesus, their Jewish Messiah. Not only to Jews, but also a light to the Gentiles, as well as the prophets talk about. So they backed up by fulfilling prophecy. They backed it up through signs and miracles, supernatural things that couldn't be done through medicine or through natural means, coincidental things. They did some major things, and that's why they became known in the area of Joppa.